What's up, tennis fans? Sleepy Picks here. We got some quarterfinals matches to talk about here at the Munich Open. Let's take a look at the draw. Here's a look at Zverev's half of the draw. First quarterfinal we're going to talk about is Cobolli against Kopriva. And Cobolli, nice win against Bergs. Bergs had moments where he looked like a strong player, but they just weren't consistent enough. Bergs has those big shots, and there were some shots that we saw that, looked very effective against Cobolli. He was targeting the backhand of Cobolli, and just not enough really to produce anything successful where he was consistent enough to get those shots. But good on Cobolli. He was able to be the steadier player and get through this match 6-2, 6-3. He advances to take on Vic Kopriva. And this match, another disappointment for Darderi. And Darderi was up 6-2, 2-0, 4 games away from winning this match in straight sets and not having to worry about a tough third set. But he ends up dropping the break immediately, and the match goes back and forth, and serving to stay in the second set, Darderi gets broken. For me, Darderi for a set and a half, he looked like the stronger clay court player. He looked like the Darderi that we know, that we're used to seeing. The problem that I kind of ran into is it feels like the Darderi last year just couldn't find ways to lose. He just didn't remember how to lose. He found ways to win, some tougher matches than others. This Darderi just seems to find all different kinds of ways to lose matches, and it's a little bit unfortunate for him because I really like him as a player. He's such an entertaining player to see, and I thought, especially with that winning over in Chile, that he was going to be able to turn this around, but it seems to be plaguing him even more. He was very bothered by the fact that they didn't call the match. He was talking to, it looked like, the tournament director, trying to figure out if they could stop the match. So once they split, it looked like Dardere is very concerned that they weren't going to be able to finish this match. But Kopriva jets out to a 3-0 lead, and it just to me looked like Darderi was basically like, I'll wrap it up, whatever. And that's unfortunate, but honestly, like, yes, of course, like, you can blame him for that, but for me, it's just like a guy that feels like everything that can potentially go wrong goes wrong for him. And like when you're losing these tougher matches, these tough three-set matches, these things seem to stick out in your head a little bit more. And I do feel for Darderi. I really do. I mean, I hope he's going to be able to get back. But like for now, guys, I mean, I don't see any point in having him on your fantasy team, any point in picking him to advance past a quarterfinal stage in any of these tournaments. I mean, when you look at the Masters, when we get to Madrid and Rome, like I can't see him even advancing to a round of 16 match. Like he's struggling with guys like Vic Kopriva. Vic Kopriva, it has to qualify to get into some of these tournaments. So this was a very tough loss, and I think the losses keep getting tougher. I thought with the Zhang win, maybe he would be able to turn a corner. Not to be. It seems like now he's right back to square one here. Vic Kopriva advances 2-6, 6-4, 6-1. Looking at this head-to-head for Cobolli and Kopriva, it is 2-0 for Kopriva with both matches being on the clay. This is going to be a war, guys, for the semifinals in Munich. A chance to play probably Zverev, but we'll see. I don't know, guys. There's been a lot of upsets throughout all these tournaments, so I kind of like, I'm hesitant to say like, oh, it's going to be Zverev there, but we don't know. Both in challengers too. So first challenger they played, second round, late March. It was a 6-3, 6-1 win for Kopriva. That kind of makes sense to me because Kopriva plays a very unusual style, and I can see how that would frustrate a guy like Cobolli that might not be able to hit through him with the forehand. And then you got Kopriva just like roping these like backhand and he slaps the forehand. I don't even know if I want to call it a slap. It's like he takes it so early and just hits it so flat. It's really hard to get, especially if the clay is low bouncing. It's really hard to get up on that ball. So he wins that match 6-3, 6-1. Then they play again, and it's a 6-1, 5-7, 6-0 match for Kopriva. And that doesn't, again, the score doesn't really surprise me. Obviously, the middle set, a 7-5 set, Cobolli probably got a little bit of confidence. But once you kind of have some of those balls going past you, you're like, man, what the heck is this? So I can see how that would really frustrate a guy like Cobolli. Kopriva coming in, he's 8-6 on the clay, beating Engel and Darderi, both in 3 sets. That puts him at 4 hours on court. Cobolli, on the other hand, is 3-1 on the clay. Beat Dudura and Bergs. Last week, he beat Komasana in 3 sets and lost 2 blocks. Cobolli was 15-6 on the clay last year, 10-9 the year before. Kopriva 25-13 on the clay last year, 21-16 the year before. Oof, this is a really tricky one for me, guys, because honestly, coming into this, and guys, like I really like to kind of, and I try to keep it like a little bit of a running dialogue as we're going through these matches. But I really try to come in to give you like really first impressions here of what these matches look like for me. And I really coming into this, I wanted to pick Kopriva. Did not see the head-to-head. Did not know that, these sets, Kopriva has won 3 of the 5 sets they played were either 6-1 or 6-0 for Kopriva. So for me to pick Cobolli, I think would be madness. Let's take a look at how Cobolli's done here in Barcelona. He's got a 4-2 record. Lost in the first round last year to Shevchenko, but made it out to the quarterfinals, losing to O'Connell in the quarterfinals. Interesting loss there. That was a 3-setter. And let's see if Kopriva's played here. He's 1-2. 2023, he was able to make it out and he lost in qualifying to Topo, and then lost in the first round to Jack Draper. Not that bad of a loss, and I can kind of see how a guy like Draper can get the better of Kopriva. Like the defense, Kopriva he wants to be kind of rallying up the balls out the middle, and he doesn't want to be the guy that's like in the backcourt just getting every ball back, having to play a lot of defense. I can't believe I'm going to do that. I'm going with Kopriva. I feel like this is going to be a frustrating match here for Cobolli. And just seeing this head-to-head, I got to do it. I got to go with him. He's the bet. He looks like his records show he's a better guy on the clay. 8-6 this year, 25-13 last year, 21-16 the year before. He likes the clay. He's comfortable on it, and it appears that his shots are a little bit more suited to it, which is kind of interesting because he does hit very flat. But the clay gives him time to kind of hit some of those shots. So I'm going to go Kopriva. I think it's going to be a 3-setter, again, like the challenger that they played in 2023. Give me Kopriva in 3. Here's a look at Zverev's half the draw. And guys, since he's advancing to the semifinals, I should probably try to get his name right. Sounds like it is pronounced Kopriva. So I'll try my best to get that right next time. Obviously I'm just like phonetically trying to sound it out, but that never works with tennis player names. Let's take a look at these 2 matchups here for the round of 16 as well. Again, guys, we do have a breakout video for these 2 matches. I believe it was the video that we posted yesterday. I go a little bit more in depth. I'll give you guys the cliff notes here. Zverev and Diallo. I just don't think Diallo is a great clay quarter. Had a great match against Sachko, but Sachko just couldn't handle the pace. Zverev is definitely going to be able to handle the pace of Diallo. If Diallo comes out and is able to use that serve, maybe it's a little bit closer. Maybe we get a little bit of nerves from Zverev, but I don't see Zverev really having problems with Diallo on the clay. And we did see this match earlier in Australia. It was a 4-set match with Diallo winning the first set, but I did feel like the Diallo strategy in Australia was a little bit weird, trying to go toe-to-toe with Zverev on the ground, where I feel like you've got to move him around. You got to take time away from him at some point, maybe come into net. Diallo's a huge guy, but neither here nor there. It's going to be Zverev to advance to the quarterfinals there. Zandschulp and Cerundolo. We know Botic van de Zandschulp playing extremely good tennis. He's got that aggressive style. I think this is going to be a very tricky match for Cerundolo here. Can't remember what the head-to-head was. I'll look that up in a second. But Cerundolo, he's got that forehand. He's going to be able to dictate on that side. I like the Zandschulp game just because he has a ton of different weapons, a ton of different ways to attack the ball. We've seen him play. It's 2-0 for Cerundolo here. But we've seen Botic van de Zandschulp play the aggressive style, coming in, putting balls away. He basically had that Bucharest tournament won, and Novoni just stole it right from under him. So maybe we're looking to right some wrongs here for Botic. But I think Cerundolo is going to be too strong on the day. He does have that head-to-head. He hasn't dropped a set to Botic ever in their career. So that's a big thing going. Something tells me this is going to be a 3-setter, though, guys. So maybe don't take Cerundolo. I don't know what the spread is, but don't take him on the spread. I think it's going to be a tricky match that Cerundolo is going to be able to tough out here and advance to the quarterfinals. Looking at the Zverev half as a whole, I mean, I feel like the route is slowly looking easier and easier for Zverev, and that's good. That's promising for him, for sure. Especially if Kopriva is able to take out Cobolli. I think Zverev would be able to get through Cerundolo. I don't think he's going to have much of an issue there, and he's going to get out to the finals. And again, we talk about Zverev. He's only got, I think, 1 or 2 silly losses. The rest are to Sinner and Alcaraz. The top guys. And those are the guys that can make Zverev play some of those longer points out and make him kind of think about some of those shots. So obviously they're going to give him issues, but for me, this is Zverev advancing out to the finals in this. Let's take a look at the next half of the draw. Here's a look at Shelton's half of the draw, and we got Maroszan again advancing out. He's now in the round of 16. He plays Shapo. I mean, just unreal. He's able to beat Tsitsipas on a 2-day match. 6-4. Good win for him to get through there. Now he takes on Shapo, who had a nice win over Greek Sport. Again, guys, red flags for Greek Sport here. That was just inexcusable for me. Shapo is not a great clay courter. Greek Sport used the right strategy, trying to get to that Shapo backhand and challenge it a little bit, but Shapo just taking a lot of the balls early, playing some good aggression, and in all the big points, Shapo was winning all of those. So I don't know, red flags for Greek Sport. He just hasn't looked the same since his injury, which is unfortunate because he was playing such good tennis after that Dubai final, or before the Dubai final. Looking at this head-to-head here for Shapovalov and Maroszan, they have not met before. We have Maroszan coming in at 4-3 on the clay, 9-6 last year, 5-8 the year before. Shapo 1-1 on the clay, 2-5 last year, 5-6 the year before. The reason I laughed, is because this has got Maroszan all over it for me. What a draw for him, just being able to take out Tsitsipas and now getting Shapo instead of Greek Sport. For me, this was a draw tailor-made for Talon Greek Sport to advance, and he isn't even this was tailor-made for him to advance to the quarterfinals without really blinking an eye, and he's not even able to do that. That's why you can tell I'm frustrated. I have him on my fantasy team, so I'm just a little bit miffed that he hasn't been able to do anything. He generally is decent on the clay, but now we have Maroszan, who's going to make it out to the quarterfinals of a 500. I'm not going to really say much more on this one. I mean, you got Maroszan's. He's got 4 wins. One against Saccarides, one against Altmaier, one against Jumer, and now against Tsitsipas. His 3 losses were to Merida, Hurkacz, and to Ethan Quinn in the Davis Cup. I was like, where's his 3rd loss? That was the weird Davis Cup match where he blew that lead against Ethan Quinn in the third set. And then Shapo with a 3-set loss to Blocks and a 3-set win over Greek Spore. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go with Marijan. I'm like kind of leaning towards Shapo though, because he lost. Like Blocks isn't that bad of a guy on clay. No, this is gonna be marriage. This has Marijan written all over it for me. My gut is telling me Shapo's gonna win this match, but like my mind is saying, don't be stupid. This is gonna be a Marijan match all the way. It's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be a pretty ugly match, but give me Marijan in 3 sets. Next match we're going to talk about is a quarterfinal of Fonseca playing Shelton. Fonseca able to get through Rinderknecht, and we talked about how this match might have been a little bit trickier for him, being the rematch of that 3-setter that they just played a week ago in Monte Carlo, but Fonseca played unreal. I mean, he just had everything under control. You could tell that he was just playing extremely good tennis, and he got every fall, every net cord, every little thing went his way today. And that's unfortunate because I thought Rinderknecht actually played a pretty good match, but Fonseca, the forehand, just a little bit too strong, and he's able to advance 6-3, 6-2. He takes on Ben Shelton, and yes, we got this pick wrong. And am I gonna pick against Shelton again today? Well, we'll see in like 2 minutes. Alexander Blocks had a set point in that second set, and Shelton just too clutch, guys. I mean, how many times did we see this guy on a break point serve and volley to win the point? I mean, Shelton he's starting to maybe build a little bit of confidence here on the clay. We know he made it out to the final last year. So he has like some confidence and he's familiar with this surface, with the courts. Maybe he's rediscovering what he had last year. For me, the first set I thought was extremely impressive from Shelton. The way he played way more aggressive than he did against Nava. I talked to you guys about how I felt like towards the end of that Nava match, he was very defensive and kind of waiting for the Nava misses, and Nava was able to give it to him. But today we saw Shelton just stepping in. He's volleying. He's drop shotting. I was really impressed. And I think Blocks was pretty impressed too. But Blocks was able to kind of level everything out, started to dig a little bit more into the Shelton service games, and we always see this. This is a story that is as old as time now, where we see Shelton looks great in the first set, then the player starts to read that serve a little bit better, start to dig into those service games, and all of a sudden, every service game that Shelton is facing, he's at deuce. And when that happens, it's so tough to fend off those break points time and time again. But Shelton was able to do it. I really did feel like if that did go 3 sets, I think it would have been Blocks in 3. So that's a little bit interesting for me. And I'll tuck that kind of in the back of my head, especially as we go into like if Blocks plays him in the French. I don't know what the Blocks physical fitness is, to take it to 5. But I felt like he was getting closer to, like, Shelton was content to play a few more rallies against Blocks, and that I didn't like that. I was like Shelton started to take his foot off the gas a little bit, and I felt like Blocks would have been able to take full advantage of that in the third set. But no third set. Shelton advances 6-4, 7-6. He now takes on Fonseca. These guys have not met before. This is going to be, we got, how about Shelton too? He's now the older of all these guys now that he's playing, older than Blocks, older than Fonseca. So we're so used to Shelton being like the junior of all of these opponents. Now he's the older guy. Fonseca comes in. He is 6-3 on the clay, 8-5 last year, 14-11 the year before. Shelton is 3-1 on the clay, 7-5 last year, 8-4 the year before. Shelton's path here: 3-set win over Nava, straight set win over Blocks, and Fonseca a straight set win over Diallo and a straight set win over Rinderknecht. Fonseca did have a nice run in Monte Carlo, losing to Zverev in 3 tough sets. I have a weird feeling that this is going to be a rematch of Fonseca and Zverev in the finals, and I feel like Fonseca is going to win it here. I feel like that Monte Carlo quarterfinal is kind of setting up for Fonseca to get a 100 level tournament, and I'm not sure if he's won. He's got 3 main event tournaments won. I'll have to look into that, but I'm going to take him to advance here over Ben Shelton. I've been very impressed with what I've seen from Fonseca, especially today against Rinderknecht. I thought he played phenomenally. The forehand looks great. The biggest thing against Shelton is going to be, number one, you need to hold your serve, which Fonseca was doing relatively easily against Rinderknecht. And number 2, you need to be able to put some returns in play to make Shelton play out some of these points and not just rely on a big serve or a big volley or a big serve and a serve +1 with a forehand. You got to be able to make him play some of these longer points. I think Fonseca is going to be able to do both. So when I'm looking at those, that really does give me a big plus. Again, the aggression of Fonseca should help a little bit as well. He's going to put Shelton on the defensive a lot. So this is going to be Fonseca to me. I'm very hesitant. Again, similar to what I said about Blocks, guys. I don't like Fonseca in the breakers. I always feel like Shelton is always so clutch in these breakers. He just seems to find like another level when he's playing in those breakers. And he's not even. How many times do we see Shelton go down on his serve, like give a mini break over in a breaker, and then be able to fight back anyways? Just that confidence that he has in his serve and in his play style. So I would like to see Fonseca. He's got to be able to break Shelton. I think that's going to help him a lot. But I'm going to go with Fonseca. I think it's going to be a tough 3-setter, and this is going to be a big win for Fonseca to advance to the semifinals. Fonseca in 3 sets. So look at Shelton's half of the draw. The one match we didn't talk about, which we have our breakdown in our previous video, was Altmaier and Molcan, and Molcan getting that win over Bublik. I mean, what a win for him. And then Altmaier getting a nice win over Cilic. I just feel like the Molcan game is going to be able to bother Altmaier. I believe the head-to-head here favored Molcan, because honestly, looking at this, I'm a little bit surprised that I picked Molcan. But because I like the way that Altmaier's playing, but I felt like the Molcan also coming in, he's 9-2 on the clay. That was something that really sold me here. Extremely successful here. And again, Bublik had chances in that first set, but Molcan just able to shut the door, slam the door on him to advance 6-4, 6-2. Altmaier, I know he's played pretty well, but we haven't seen really the best from him just yet. Losing to Maroszan, losing to Mahatch in 3. Able to beat Cilic, but Cilic's not a general clay quarter. Now he's going to be playing a guy that loves the clay, and this is going to be a totally different match. This is going to be a tough 3-setter either way, in my opinion, but I think Molchan's going to advance there. Looking at Shelton's half of the draw as a whole, I really do think, guys, like I said before, this is a Fonseca final here. I think he's going to come out, and I really think he's going to beat Zverev in that final if it's going to be Zverev. That rematch, I think everybody's going to be looking forward to it. I feel like we're going to get some nerves from Zverev. It is his home tournament, and I know, yes, the crowd's going to boost him and get behind it, but there's going to be tons of Fonseca fans there. There always are, and I think that moment is going to bring out a lot of nerves for Zverev. So I kind of feel like Fonseca's gonna win this whole thing. Hopefully he does. I mean, he's playing amazing clay court tennis, and this is something that we talked about, like Massetti, how he really needs a win in Barcelona to kind of get the game going, get the mindset going again. Fonseca, if he gets this one, I feel like his game just takes off. So let me know what you guys think. Share your picks in the comments. Here's a look at our round of 16 records for the day. 2-2, not too bad, not too good. Hopefully we'll do a little bit better for our picks tomorrow. We will see how it goes. And as always, guys, thanks again for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Share your picks in the comments. Share the video. We will have a video out every single day covering the Munich Open matches and going through the matches the next day and the day after. Looking forward to that. We also have a video out on the Barcelona Open, so definitely check that out to keep up on everything tennis. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys in the next video.